Hi, I'm Tom. Welcome back to another QuakeCon Duel Grand Final Retrospective. We're here today, 2013, one of my all-time favorite Quake Grand Finals, Rapha vs Evil. This game is huge. So in the 2012 video, we talked about how Quake Live was kind of in decline. Cypher was the only notable European player to travel over to Europe for 2012. 2013 is a similar story. There was no Cypher, there was no Cooler. Evil was the prominent European jeweler who made the journey over. There was also Sturmy and Hal brothers. They mostly came over, I believe, because there was a Clan Arena tournament as well, and their Clan Arena AIM team mode gods. But Evil is here. It's Evil versus the Americans, and, you know, kind of, I guess, the classic Cold War matchup. Evil has blasted his way through this tournament. He was defeated by Rapha in the upper bracket, losing 2-1. He goes down to the lower bracket where he beats 0-4, 2-1. He beats Taheng 3-0, and now he faces Rapha again in the grand final. So this tournament is not without controversy. Rapha winning the upper bracket had a one-map advantage in the grand final, but unlike most grand finals, Rapha was able to pick which map he won. So he was able to say, I pick Blood Run and win that map by default, and then picks and bans continued as usual, and Rapha got to choose the map he had up as an advantage. Usually what happens is the players pick maps and they have to play all of the maps they pick, and the decider is basically the map that Rapha would win by default. So instead, Rapha was able to pick Evil's best map and ban it against him. And when these guys have matched up on Blood Run, it's usually gone in Evil's favor. So who is Evil, by the way? Why does he appear now as such a strong player? Why am I so excited about this guy who appears so late in our story? Well, Evil was actually around in the mid-2000s. He was very young at the time. He appeared in Russian Quake tournaments, and he played extremely well. You know, he beat Cooler in some grand finals, I believe, or at the very least kind of went toe-to-toe with him. He was a crazy good player. In the early days of Quake Live, he had a girlfriend, but now he's single, he's back, he is playing like it's nobody's business, right? And Evil will actually be the last European player to be making, you know, kind of like a salary off of Quake Live. He's going to keep playing all these online tournaments, and he's going to win basically everything from 2013 on. Obviously, that's kind of like a generalization. He's going to have a strong rivalry with Cypher. He's going to have really close grand finals against Cooler and lots of other top European players, but Evil becomes the man to beat online. But right now, he is the biggest obstacle in the way of Rapha winning his third QuakeCon, tying up 0-4, Rapha's mentor, and Cypher, Rapha's biggest rival, for 3 QuakeCon tournament wins. So let's get into this map. We're going to watch it from Evil's point of view here on Lost World, a map that both players are very good at, I think, for very different reasons. And we're going to see how powerful Evil is. Interesting spawns off the start here, and Evil straight away, playing this very aggressive, playing very damage focused, drops down, hits a huge rocket. Evil is going to do stupid amounts of damage in this game, I am sure, right? I don't watch these games before I record these. You know, I go largely by what I remember. I actually watched this game live in 2013. So anyway, Evil gets damage off the spawn. Rapha plays for the exit damage on the red. Very importantly, this map, there is no railgun. So it's going to be all about, you know, how well you can control space with your rockets. It's going to be all about how hard you can hit with the OG, and Evil hits pretty damn hard. And he's going to pick really good situations to do it. So fighting around the Mega Room is going to be scary for Rapha. Evil's going to have a lot of potential to hit really strong OG there. Evil plays it quiet. He just wants to get on this LG right now. Rapha isn't able to stop him. He doesn't have the stack. Red armor is going to be coming fairly close to this Mega, but Evil gets on red first. He's there nice and early. And Rapha, it's hard for Rapha to commit to spamming out this item right now because Mega's coming. So Evil's pretty safe to take it without taking damage. Rapha has to be positioned on this Mega right now, surely. Evil hesitates a little, and I think something you often see Rapha do is sit above this Mega. Rapha doesn't even do that, which is crazy. Rapha's just going to play this really carefully. He's going to make sure he gets both of these yellow armors and stacks up, because if you make one wrong move against Evil, he will farm you, he will clean you up. Evil is terrifying to play against. Excellent position there for Rapha. You know, just playing around what Evil wanted to collect rather than thinking about these items necessarily. He plays for the exit damage off of that yellow armor that Evil just took, but it's not enough that he's going to make a play at this Mega. Or maybe it is. Somehow he gets around that corner and gets a ridiculous amount of damage and then disappears, and this is peak Rapha, okay? let me just. Okay, this, I try not to rewind too much in these videos, but this deserves a rewind. Because Evil right now, he's thinking what I'm thinking, right? Rapha, his stack isn't huge, he's got like probably 150 armor, 100 HP, and he just gets all the way around that corner. Because Evil is going to be spamming the right side of that doorway. Rapha comes all the way over to the left side. That's the only way I think this makes sense. He just gets in his face and hits amazing rockets, and then knows that he can back off and get around this corner before he takes much damage. That's the rocket that really like makes it a Rapha moment. You fire that rocket off, you know, 99% of the time it doesn't hit, but when it does, you get a huge opportunity to take control of the map. And, you know, that's what makes this a Rapha moment. Not only that he makes the really sick play, but that he will know exactly what to do off the back of it to take control of the map. Absolutely disgusting by Rapha. And actually crazy that Evil was going to get both items off the back of this. I didn't really... I guess I was talking about how great that play was. I wasn't really thinking about what items came next. I was just so surprised. So even though Rapha makes the sick play, he actually isn't able to take control of the map, because I guess he takes too much damage while he goes into that situation to necessarily just commit to that mega. And he's just playing for damage instead, right? He doesn't want to give up this first frag. He wants to be ahead in this game, right? So Rapha's going to hold on to a pretty decent armor stack off the back of this. Evil, with this mega, should command the middle of the map, and this is going to be a scary shaft fight right now. Again, Rapha hits quite a lot as he backs away. He wears all that armor off of Evil, but red armor is going to come up. And Evil's going to be able to collect it uncontested. Now, it's going to be fairly important that Rapha could potentially get both yellow armors here. And I think that might actually be exactly what he does. Red and Mega synced up for Evil. This could be Rapha's opportunity, because the thing with Rapha on this map is he will play it very safe. He will sit back, and people will say that Rapha's a very boring player to watch. I've talked about this in previous Rapha Grand Finals, but Rapha always has a payoff. There's always something crazy that he does, like we already saw, right? He's gonna make something amazing happen, it's just a question of when, and Evil is a little bit cautious of this, right? These guys haven't met up very many times in tournaments. Great damage for Evil there to hit that rocket. That's, you know, like a stronger rocket than Rapha probably necessarily expects to take. But he's in a position where even if he takes that rocket, it's not the end of the world. It's not going to mean that he gives up this frag. And seriously, Rapha's main priority here is going to be to make sure that he does not die before Evil does. Evil playing around this yellow armor, it's actually not up when he expects it to be. Evil knows that at some point Rapha is going to be in this position. And it's not now, but it's going to come at some point. Evil 200-200 dominating the stack. And if we look at the scoreboard here, we don't get to see, we don't have a spectator demo, so we don't get to actually see how much damage was done. Nice little rocket there, but basically not a lot of damage has been exchanged so far in this game, right? Especially, you know, kind of between these items. These guys are really staying out of sight. Rapha cops a nasty rocket, he's got to get out of here. And he's got the perfect movement to do it. He knows exactly what his plan is for getting out of that situation. He doesn't go there if he doesn't have an exit plan. I love that Evil just, you know, takes the time to sit and wait. And again, you can see how precise his timing is around that mega. He knows exactly how long he can sit and wait at that teleporter. and just in the brief moment Evil looks away, Rapha's able to snatch away that yellow armor. So Rapha playing on, you know, however, one or two of the yellows, depending on what he knows he's able to get. Evil, phenomenal timing here. Evil maybe thinks about that bounce pad even for a second. He knows he's got a little bit before this mega comes up. Is this going to be the time Rapha makes a play? Where is he? And there it is. Rapha picks up the mega, he messes up his rocket jump. That means he takes way more damage than he should there. Rocket jumps up to that top level from Evil, but Rapha's too prepared with that shaft. And that's one of the crazy things about that play, right? It feels like it shouldn't necessarily work, but if you get down on that mega and rocket jump out, if your opponent tries to rocket jump out to catch you and you have LG out, you're going to do so much damage while they do it. So it feels like you can get punished for it, but Rapha time and time again shows us how effective dropping down on that mega can be. So So there we go. Rapha dominates the top of the map. He's in a strong position. He doesn't have loads of HP. He's taken a fair amount of damage. Evil has fought his way down towards this Mega. The grenade spam from Rapha is really strong. Evil can't just stand there and take it. He can't afford to. He's quite weak, but not so weak that Rapha's going to push in for this frag. Beautiful rocket there for Rapha to knock Evil down. It's not really going to matter for much. Evil just wastes no time rocket jumping back up there because he knows the most important thing is to make sure he has armor and to make sure that Rapha can't get control of the red armor as well as the others, right? But Rapha has gotten both yellows again this rotation potentially if he hasn't just played position here, and we're going to find out as Evil rounds this corner. So you've got to assume that Rapha has both yellows here. In other words, both players are about 100-100, Rapha maybe with a little bit more. Red and Mega are going to be a fairly similar time again. Red up right now. Rapha has the rockets to deny it, but he isn't able to drop down onto it. And so, you know, what we're seeing a lot in these situations is Rapha at the top of the map and Evil at that mid-level. And you've got to respect the shaft. You can't take a risky drop down onto Evil because he will destroy you. I really like that cute little jump and rocket angle as well. You know, you can't take the bounce pad. Right, it's too much of a risk. You're going to take too much damage. Even if you get the frag, you're going to end up in a really bad position. Keeping control is really important for Evil right now. So you kind of have this standoff. Rapha doesn't want to die, and he's at a stack disadvantage. Evil doesn't want to lose his stack advantage, even if it means he's delaying getting this frag. It's kind of like an infinite force versus an immovable object, right? Evil has time to sit and wait. He's not stressed out right now, okay? And one of the things that's really great to watch about Evil is it does always look like he's so smooth and collected. You know, he's never really flicking his mouse a lot, right? Everything is calculated. Rapha comes up that bounce pad into a pretty nasty rocket, but hits 2 good rockets of his own on the way through. A lot of damage there. That wins him a good position onto the Mega. Oh, Evil back and forward with his movement there, able to avoid all of the rocket damage from Rapha. Rapha uses this little nipple here to pick LG fights all the time. He pokes out around it. Evil just farms off the damage there as he goes past. And actually, like, rocket jumping up to look for the damage there is huge. If Rapha comes out from that yellow armor, it feels like there are some situations where if he has LG out, he can get a good bit of free damage, but it's just never going to happen, right? You're just never going to think your opponent's going to do it necessarily. And Rapha, he just wants this opening damage somewhere, and Evil is being so cautious, so considered, and, you know, he's hitting so hard where it counts, right? Rapha, you see him against so many players at that top position before he backs off to that yellow armor, absolutely demolishing people with LG, but Evil isn't going to miss. He isn't going to be thrown off by... It's kind of like a trick, right? He's unfazed. Evil hedges his bets on what Rapha's doing there, and Rapha is doing nothing. Nice to poke his head out there and look for some damage. Doesn't quite get the rocket connection he probably hopes for. Rapha dodging around here. He knows that he needs to make damage if he's going to flip this around. Otherwise, he's just delaying the time when Evil is going to get the situation he wants and actually make a frag, right? Rapha's made some really great stuff happen with very limited resources. But if he can't break Evil's control, then, you know, there's only so many times he can get away. There's only so long he can hold on for. Just incredible rocket, right? You don't even see Rapha on Evil's screen. It's such a tight angle. And Evil goes in. He walks forward to commit to this LG fight. And Rapha gets a crazy bounce. So we've got to rewatch this, right? Evil, probably, you know, almost the weakest he's been at any point for the last, like, 4 minutes or so, more or less. There have been a few times he's dipped, you know, lower on armor and health. But this is, like, more or less the best stack equalization Rapha's seen. Evil gets a really good rocket, and then he goes into Rapha's face. Rapha hits a great bit of damage and then knocks Evil all the way down to the bottom, and this is really insane. If Rapha doesn't knock Evil back so effectively, there's a lot of potential for Evil to hit a lot of LG as Rapha goes for the Mega. I don't think Rapha could have been very stacked before that Mega pickup, and now Evil really has to think about how he gets onto this red, and he goes for the rocket jump. And Rapha flying across with the OG, that again, like such a huge calculated risk for Rapha. He sees how he can get the frag, he makes it happen, massive commitment, and now Evil hits perfect LG as he goes down, but it's not enough. The stack is too big for Rapha there. Like it's just a spawn, and these things do happen. So Evil, 1 minute 15 on the clock. Rapha not a lot of stack to him. He gets caught off guard as Evil comes around the corner. Really huge catch for Evil there, right? Like he just commits to his lightning gun. I think he even had the OG out as he came around the corner, right? So Rapha had that much time to react to that sound cue, and he just completely doesn't spin around. So that's unfortunate there for Rapha. I like that he comes back out and commits to this red. I think that's the right play. He knows Evil doesn't have much HP. Evil connecting with some good damage. And this is scary for Evil as well. He comes in and gets himself on the board, and, you know, like, really has to just commit to getting himself on the board at this point. And with this Mega, he's got to go shopping for another frag. Rapha going to be playing so defensively for sure. This yellow armor's up. That pretty much tells Evil that Rapha's most likely chilling towards this LG room, and he's going to be hard to push there. Evil has to check all the little hiding spots in this room. He can't leave without it. He catches a glimpse of Rapha's head there. Really nice rocket jump for Evil. He rocket jumps out of LG range, right? If you go forward and rocket jump towards Rapha, you're going to get farmed with LG. You're going to get pushed back. You're not going to make it up to the top level if Rapha hits his LG, right? Whereas rocket jumping up like Evil does, Rapha can't stop it. So perfect movement for Evil. The chase is on. 30 seconds to tie up this game. Rapha moving so fast that, you know, he barely exposes himself, and even in that long corridor, like, Evil hitting good shots just pushes Rapha further away and means that he can get away to this 50 HP bubble. He can get into this LG room that he needs to be in to play so defensively. Rapha, he's going to dance around this room. He's going to make Evil's life so hard. 100 health points for Evil here. You know, one good rocket will do it. And Rapha has just clutched this out into a win. Huge grand final game here. You know, they're like such a tight map. These players respecting each other so much. Rapha playing so cautiously. Look at these stats. 2 red armors, 3 mega healths, 26 yellows. Such a low damage game between these two guys. It's crazy. Rapha has no doubt seen what Evil's capable of when it comes to dealing damage, and it felt like he just denied every opportunity. But when Rapha commits to making something happen, he really commits. And I feel like this is almost the quintessential Rapha game for demonstrating that. So like I said, this is a controversial grand final because Rapha was able to ban Evil's best map from the final, basically, or essentially win it. For free, just because he came in from the upper final. So there are people out there who still say this grand final is tied up 2-2, right? Or 2-1. And that they have more maps to play, right? That they should play this blood run and settle the score once and for all or something. And it's unfortunate that those were the rules for this tournament. I think this was the only QuakeCon with those rules, right? From here on out, it reverts to something a lot more sensible, which is really good. I think a lot of people complained and they took the complaints to heart. But Rapha definitely deserving the win on this map, and he definitely deserves to go on and win this series to become the 3rd person to win 3 QuakeCon Grand Finals. You know, entering the Hall of Greats. But now, Cypher's tied up 0-4, Rapha's tied up 0-4. The question is, who can surpass 0-4 and win 4 or maybe even more QuakeCon Grand Finals? 2013 was a huge year, and from this point on, I remember watching every single grand final live as they were played. 2013, 2014, 2015, and 2016 was a huge one. 2011 and 2012 I didn't watch live. 2010 I did watch live, so it was a bit of a messy few years in the middle there. But from here on out, these are real grand finals that are near and dear to my heart. I remember waking up early on a Sunday morning, or maybe even a Monday morning, getting on a voice call with some friends, watching these games play out, you know, just getting so excited about the level of play that was being seen. And again, this is an era where Quake Live was in decline, right? Evil was the only prominent European jeweler at this event, and still, the quality of these games is so high. You know, this is some of the lowest prize pool money these guys were playing for, and the level is just even higher than last year, right? These guys find new ways to push the game to new heights. It's incredible to watch. I love this grand final. I'm so excited to go through the next few because, like I said, these games mean a lot to me. So thank you so much for tuning in. I've been Phylum, and I will see you next year for 2014.